Hello, this is JOMAJ Studios, and this is our original action fantasy adventure, The Fall of Nale, Episode 5. After a short recuperation, Jacob and Nathaniel began to make their way back onto the path leading to the evil sorcerer's fortress. What's your story? You're obviously a great warrior, so why be the royal fool? Asked Nathaniel. Jester, corrected Jacob. Whatever, why? When I was 10, some outlaws attacked my family's home. Naturally, my dad, being the man and warrior of the house, protected me and my mother. That day, I saw a side of him I had never seen before. He fought like a wild animal, and the scary thing was, he seemed to be enjoying himself. As I watched my father kill every one of those men, I knew I wanted no part of such an existence, said Jacob, certain his story would justify the path he chose in life. You watched your warrior defend his family in battle? If anything, that should inspire you to be a warrior, pointed out Nathaniel. How about you? Why did you decide to be a knight? Asked Jacob, at this point giving up on making Nathaniel see his point of view. My father once told me the battlefield was the best place for a man to prove his worth. I believed him. My father told me the same thing. I didn't agree with him. Why not? Asked Nathaniel. Because every war man has ever fought has never been on the basis of complete reasoning. Really? You know what I think? I think it's insane for a grown man to be oblivious to the fact we live in an imperfect world, where men like you and me have to stand up and fight for our beliefs. As the conversation ended on that note, the two young men rode up to the entrance of the Colithian forest, which was now part of the only route left to Aiden's fortress. It is best we continue our journey on foot, pointed out Jacob as he jumped off his horse. Why? Asked Nathaniel, unconvinced such a move was necessary. Aiden expects Nale to send warriors to vanquish his evil. It is best we move unnoticed through the forest, explained Jacob. Nathaniel, giving in to Jacob's plan, hesitantly jumps off the horse. Both men then began their journey through the forest on foot. Be on the lookout for fruits or vegetables. We will need to keep our strength up as we journey on, Ali announced Jacob as he and the young knight continued their trek. Nathaniel suddenly stopped Jacob quietly and drew his attention to a frightened little girl, about 8, with long red hair and innocent-looking green eyes. The girl, who wore a dirty white dress, looked frightened and upset as she stood still in an opening of the forest. As the warriors approached the seemingly distressed girl, they noticed what seemed to be a very large and deep trench dug around her. Hey there, little one. Is everything okay? Asked Nathaniel, trying to make her feel secure. She replied his question with a nod that said no. Why don't you jump over to us so we can help you get home? Said Nathaniel, trying to gain the girl's trust, but the girl didn't move. It were as though she was scared to move outside the area created by the trench. Okay, I'll come over there and get you. Is that okay? Asked Nathaniel. But there was no response from the little girl, who still seemed scared. Nathaniel then proceeded to leap over the trench to land by the side of the little girl. Wait! Yelled out Jacob, sensing something wasn't right, but it was too late. Nathaniel had already made his jump. As the knight's feet touched the ground, there came a rumbling sound as the whole area began to quake. This prompted both warriors to draw out their weapons. Then, from out of the ground, a giant mole-like creature with long razor-sharp claws and teeth violently emerged out of the ground. The beast then thrust its claws at the young knight as the monster sighted him beside its launch. Nathaniel blocked the attack with his sword, causing the creature to shatter its claws on the sword's enchanted blade. The creature, now frightened, quickly submerged back into the ground. Wasting no time at all, Nathaniel took the girl in his arms and leaped out of the area created by the monster. What the hell was that? Asked Nathaniel as he returned back to the side of his comrade. The area began to quake again as the monster began to burrow towards the young men. Nathaniel and Jacob responded by running as fast as they could. Split up! Yelled Jacob as both men ran up to a crossroad. Nathaniel, with the girl still in his hands, complied by taking the right path as Jacob took the left. The mole creature continued to pursue Jacob, and as it began to catch up with the noble warrior, it leaped out of the ground in an effort to pounce on him. Jacob responded by leaping back and executing a spinning attack with his staff, striking the creature hard on its chin. The creature, unable to withstand the force of Jacob's enchanted staff, fell to the ground unconscious with a loud thud. Good work, complimented the young knight as he and the little girl approached Jacob, who was by now out of breath. Did you find out where she was from? Asked Jacob. I don't think she can speak, informed Nathaniel. She's probably a bit traumatized, assumed Jacob, as he watched the little girl walk up to him and tug on his sleeve. I think she wants to show us something, said Nathaniel, noticing the little girl trying to lead Jacob by the hand. The two warriors then proceeded to follow the little girl, who led them deep into an uncharted area of the forest, where they came to a simple-looking village made up of huts and farms. As the young girl led the warriors through the entrance of the village, all the villagers rushed out to give them a warm welcome. They, like their village, were simple-looking and were all dressed in rags. Olas, your daughter has returned, cried out one of the villagers, causing a well-built middle-aged man to run out of one of the huts. It was obvious he was the little girl's father, for he had passed down to her most of his facial features. Thank you for bringing her back, thanked Olas. It was nothing, said Nathaniel, who was obviously enjoying the attention. She shouldn't be wandering the forest on her own, pointed out Jacob, not at all interested in the villagers' praises. You're right. You see, I took her along on a hunting trip and she wandered off. With all the things that lurk in this forest, it's a miracle you were able to bring her back in one piece. I guess the gods are smiling on us. We have to be on our way now, said Jacob. Wait, at least let us repay you with a feast. You seem to have been embarking on a long journey. It's only fair we provide you a means to eat and rest, insisted Olas, stopping the warriors from leaving. Olas succeeded in persuading Nathaniel and Jacob to rest and eat in his village. That evening, the village threw a light celebration that involved eating, drinking, and a lot of dancing round the campfire. The quest at hand had made it impossible for Jacob to relax, causing him to spend most of the evening sitting down on his own. Nathaniel, on the other hand, had no problem in joining in with the festivities. I'm going to ease myself. I'll be right back, informed Nathaniel, making his whereabouts known to Jacob. The young knight then proceeded to walk up to a quiet, grassy area where he proceeded to urinate. As he headed back to the party, one of the villagers emerged from the shadows and approached him. The villager was a young woman with long black hair and stunning brown eyes. The fact that she wore rags did nothing to hinder her beauty. Hey there, greeted the young woman. Hey, replied Nathaniel, lost for words as the intensity of her beauty mesmerized him. You're very handsome, complimented the woman. Thank you, said Nathaniel, just about managing not to stammer. The young woman then walked up to the knight and gave him a passionate kiss, but halfway through it, Nathaniel pushed her away. I'm sorry, my heart belongs to someone else, explained Nathaniel. The woman reacted by striking the knight hard across the face, a strike that was so hard it spun him to the ground. As the knight lay on the ground, recovering from the woman's attack, he noticed the woman's appearance had altered. She had grown long, sharp fangs and her skin had become green and scaly. The woman proceeded to try and crush the young warrior with her foot, but Nathaniel quickly reacted and rolled out of the way. As the knight flipped to his feet, the woman began to engage him in hand-to-hand combat. Nathaniel soon discovered firsthand that his opponent possessed incredible strength, as one of her blows threw him 5 feet through the air before he hit the ground hard. The young knight, fueled mainly by adrenaline, drew his sword as he rose to his feet. The woman ran at him to attack once again, but the blade of his enchanted sword greeted her this time. As Nathaniel's sword struck the woman, her body burnt up almost instantaneously. Back near the fire, Jacob still sat alone, calmly drinking on some wine. Nathaniel, fresh from his fight, took a seat beside the comrade as though nothing had happened, in an attempt to avoid attention. Jacob, these people are dangerous, said Nathaniel quietly. I know, said Jacob, still remaining very calm. You know? Since when? Said Nathaniel, almost about to raise his voice above a whisper. They are Egacs. My father told me of these people. They are an ancient tribe cursed by an evil sorceress to live off the flesh of others for the rest of their days. If you knew all this, then why accept Ola's invitation? Asked Nathaniel, now feeling very uneasy. When in doubt, stay calm and trust your reflexes. What? It's a piece of advice my father gave when training me for combat. I knew if we had turned down Ola's offer, the whole village would have attacked us there and then. There is no way we would have survived in our exhausted condition, so I took the offer, knowing very well we would be provided with food and a chance to rest. Okay, that's a very clever plan, but I feel we have had enough rest, insisted Nathaniel. They don't intend to feed on us until morning. If we leave now, it would only arouse suspicion, pointed out Jacob. Jacob, I just killed one of them. In that case, we should leave immediately. But as both warriors rose to their feet, Olas approached them. Is everything alright? Asked Olas as the whole village began to surround the young men. Everything is fine. Why do you ask? Answered Jacob as he and the knight pathetically pretended to be ignorant of any threats. Well, it looked like you were both leaving in a hurry, said Olas as he and the villagers revealed their true forms. Kill the leader and they all fall, informed Jacob calmly, then ducking, enabling Nathaniel to swing his sword over him and decapitate Olas. This provoked the villagers to attack without mercy, putting both warriors' combat skills to the test. Nathaniel, with his excellent use of the sword, began to slay Igak after Igak. They are still attacking, yelled out Nathaniel, who had now begun to make use of his shield as well as his sword. Olas wasn't the leader. We need to find the leader, cried out Jacob as he artistically worked his way through the mob of demonic beings with his enchanted staff. Jacob, in the heart of battle, then noticed the villagers were putting their lives down to give Olas's little girl protection. The girl, yelled out Jacob, which in turn prompted Nathaniel to slash through the little girl's bodyguards. As the knight bravely attempted to move in for the kill, Olas's daughter smiled as she used an invisible force to throw Nathaniel to the floor. She then transformed into a giant lizard creature that stood like a man. At this point, all the villagers stopped fighting. It was almost as if they stopped fighting out of respect for their leader. The giant lizard creature gave out a loud roar-like sound as it made a move to finish off the young knight. Jacob, now only focusing on acting quickly, threw his enchanted boomerang at Nathaniel's attacker. The lizard creature avoided the razor-sharp boomerang by moving to the side, giving the knight enough time to come out of his daze and stab the creature in the foot. As the creature yelled out in pain, he was unable to move out of the way of Jacob's enchanted boomerang while it spun back towards him. As the noble warrior's enchanted weapon cut through the leader of the Igaks, one by one, all its followers began to burn up. That is the end of episode 5, but before we go, answer this episode's question. If Nathaniel is a Christian, is it right he dedicates his life to essentially being a soldier? Refer to the Bible and give your answers via any of JOMAJ Studios' social media platform links, which can be found at jomajstudios.com. Like Water, The Next Age is now available on paperback and in ebook format via any Kindle device. Also, check out the JOMAJ Studio website, Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel for the complete Like Water series and all other JOMAJ Studio features.